Hello and welcome to HP VB WRX. My name is Wace and you guys are not going to believe where I am. Actually, I took a little time to finally shoot my very first on-location video, and I'll give you guys a hint. Anybody recognize that car? Huh, how about this? You recognize that name? That's right, I'm actually outside of Baltimore and I got a chance to stop by Felix Performance's shop and I am incredibly excited. I know you guys actually saw, and people have been telling me all the time so far within the last week how they've gotten this particular car up to like almost, 660 horsepower. It is incredible. I cannot wait to talk to James and to Anthony and to Melanie, which you guys all know. She helps most of you, almost all of you, with all your support for the parts for your 22 WR. So let's hop inside and take a look. Surprise, surprise! HP VB WRX has just landed in Felix Performance. You guys all know who this is.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Everybody that knows online, this is Melanie. This is who you're talking to every day. And look at this. This is all of the parts she sends out, you guys. This is really exciting. Melanie, thank you so much for letting me come here and film. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah,
Welcome to the East Coast.
Oh, it is. It's still hot. I thought it wasn't going to be as hot, but it's still incredibly hot. How's the Subaru business out here?
Busy.
You know,
Exciting.
I have driven around for like the last 2 days, and there's been nothing but Subarus everywhere, which is so awesome to see. And I kind of wish that I had my Subaru.
I told you that.
I know. Well, next time. So I'm actually here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking to James a bit more about everything that's going on with the car, and definitely want to do kind of like a mini tuner talk with Anthony because you said that's 660 horsepower?
Something like that.
Just a little bit. It's a little bit faster than the normal WRX that we've seen, and I am incredibly excited, and I hope you guys are as well. All right, Melanie, if you don't mind walking us into the den where all the cool stuff happens. You guys are about to see. This is Felix Performance's. Oh, yeah. Employees only. Here we go. This is it.
Watch your step.
This is where all the magic
guys.
happens. Yeah, let's go find the guys. This is amazing. I can't believe that I'm here. I can't believe I'm here with you guys to see. This is where you guys saw the videos for the headers. You guys saw the videos where they tuned the car, which is so crazy. There's so much more stuff back there. This is really cool. And who's that? I see somebody hiding in the back. Oh, man. It's the Dmann himself. Careful, this is a dyno.
Oh, yeah, I know.
What's going on, man? It's nice seeing you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for letting me come by here.
Yeah, I heard you were stopping by.
Yeah, just randomly. I had my plane drop me off here, and we got another guy, James Felix himself.
How you doing, brother?
Thanks so much for.
You.
Oh, definitely. It's a lot. You guys, I've talked to both of you, obviously, online. This just was a great opportunity for me to come out here, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna message him and just kind of see how it goes. If you got time, great. If you don't, I'm still coming by.
We definitely got time.
So this is. I have tons of questions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up, and we're just gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
All right, so I got James here, and I have tons of questions for him, mainly about everything that you guys have been seeing that they've been doing here with the car. You know, putting on the turbo kits, making all this tremendous power. So I want to start with that. James, tell me, how has it been getting the ETS turbo kit, and can you elaborate some of the difficulties that regular people would have, like, say, people like myself, or even Joey Montalto? I have a feeling that if there's anybody who's going to install a turbo by himself, it's probably going to be him.
All right, so it goes on fairly well when you're mechanically inclined, but there's some things that could be a little more difficult to get to. With the tubular header, you're going to have to get, like, you need a flex socket, you need some extensions, stuff like that. It's kind of tough to really torque it down, so that way you don't have exhaust leaks. Setting up the internal wastegate, the biggest thing I can tell everybody is do not adjust your factory wastegate. You can actually crack it loose and set it in a different position. If you do that, you're going to throw a code.
Okay.
You can plug in your factory blow-off valve and just like hang it, or you could have your tuner turn the blow-off valve. Not the blow-off valve. The blow-off valve off, because you're going to be using a mechanical blow-off valve now.
Okay.
So routing the blow-off valve, I suggest taking off the alternator. So take off the drive belt, take the alternator off, so you can get down to the T that you need to installed, so you need to cut a hose, clamp it, zip tie it, and then run it down. And that will give you an additional boost source for other things down the road.
Other things, yeah. So how has it been? Is the kit well put together? Does it give you everything you need to get this turbo set up properly?
It does, as long as you have the ETS front mount kit. So make sure you have that. You have to have the ETS front mount kit to work with their full turbo kit. I got the G3770. It's definitely laggier than stock, but it's doable for a daily driver, especially when you're on the road. It's fine. It's a little difficult launching it, getting it out the hole with the current software available with Cobb, because we don't have launch control and stuff like that yet.
Yeah. So next question. Obviously, you're running an STI transmission. There's no way you would have been able to do this on the stock transmission. But at what point did you notice that? At what point were you noticing that stock transmission was kind of? Because I know, obviously, you say you've been through a couple of clutches, which we'll talk about it next. But what was the point where the stock transmission fell apart for you guys?
So we were on the stock turbo, running ethanol MAP on kill. It made right around 456 horsepower and 541 torque. I did a pull in third gear, and the transmission, she decided to let go on the dyno. So third gear just is not there anymore. So at that point, then we decided we had to go ahead and swap out to the STI transmission, preparing for the big turbo kit. So at that point, when you had the stock transmission in there, I want to know what clutches were you running at that point? And obviously now, since you got the STI transmission in there, what clutch are you running now? So we started out with the OEM clutch, and I made almost 500 foot-pounds of torque on the OEM launching it. So one of my best runs, the 1171, was on the stock clutch, which was pretty awesome. With on the old white car that I had, not just the blue one, when I was down in Orlando with drag radials, I cut a 160 60 foot with a stock clutch, slipping. Yeah, man, it slipped amazing. After that. She hooked and then she let go. So, but other clutches, we've been with X Clutch. We've run their 8-inch ceramic twin disc, and that worked really well on the OEM transmission. When I did the conversion kit that you can buy for the STI transmission, is retain the stock or retain that same clutch. It made a lot of noise, so it wasn't going to be something that somebody would want to daily drive with that conversion kit. So now I've gone to an X clutch, which is a full 9-inch clutch twin disc that is full organic. So it's a lot quieter. You do smell the organic. You can smell it burning and slipping a little bit as you're like slipping the clutch, but it seems to be a little more daily.
Okay. Well, that's really good information, especially the fact that the OEM clutch made it all the way to 500 horsepower or 500 torque. 500 torque. Which is good for me, because I think the max that I've ever had, which on when I had Graham's tune, was like 437, and I'm pretty sure Dmann had me at like, he says 450, and I was like, man, because I would smell my clutch a lot that night.
Well, it held 500. I don't know how long it was going to hold 500 for daily, but it did hold it for a couple thousand miles with me beating on it. So I mean, it probably held 30 plus launches, and I think I drove it like 12,000 miles when I had it. So the first on the white car. So but we swapped over right away on the blue car to a twin disc, because I knew that the OEM was not going to last for the long haul with as much abuse that we put on it. So.
That's fantastic. That's still really good to know for the people that are getting very conservative tunes. If you're running something like 320 to 340 horsepower, maybe high 300s, I feel like the stock clutch is going to be more than enough for you. James, thank you so much. I'm so glad to have been able to ask you all these questions. Next, I want to get Anthony, because I've got some choice questions for him as well. All right. Now that we got James done, and we'll go back talk to him again after we go back out and look at the car. Anthony, thank you again for doing this. I got tons of questions. What I want to start with is, there's been, I don't want to say rumors, it has happened. I've seen a couple of cars. I've got a couple of buddies who have also happened to. I want you to tell me about, heads lifting when we get to higher torque, well, I guess higher torques, higher boost. So tell me, what's been your experience?
Why, just hold this?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
just kidding. All right, so first, I'm doing emails and I'm being interrupted, so anybody's late, I'm sorry. The big thing with heads lifting, I don't know if it's a specific boost target or if it's specific cylinder pressure load, right? So I think it's more of the cylinder pressure than it is a boost target, because we've ran cars at 23, 24, 26, whatever the stock turbo can do with lower ignition timing, which in turn have a little bit less cylinder pressure, and those heads have been fine. What we're noticing is once you go full send, you start maxing out ignition timing, almost MBT, even on ethanol, E85, what have you. You start getting up 20, 23 pounds. We are starting to see certain cars, not all, just lift the stock head bolts. So the stock head bolts are notoriously torque yield, right? So the whole process of installing head bolts at a factory is, I think, done all mechanically now. It's literally a machine. It just comes down, does all of them at once. So the older, 90s way of actually doing the torque yield correctly is no longer done. It's just a machine. But that's no fault on Subaru. The big thing is these cars, they hit 10 psi and they'll peak up to 13 up top, to give you that more linear power band. These cars were never meant for 24, 25 pounds of boost. We're essentially doubling the boost target on these cars, and they are holding up. And some people have no issues. And then I've had other people, with pretty moderate E85 tunes, not scare anybody, but have issues. But if you look at the older FAs, they have bearing issues. You look at some of the STI stuff, they have ring lane issues. I will say doing head studs on a VB WRX is much cheaper than those two alternatives. So there's always something worse that can happen. It is hot as balls.
It is. Aren't you glad we kept we were talking about, should we keep the fans on? And I was like, no, I'm going to keep the fans on. I don't care if there's extra audio. So I'm glad you mentioned E85. There's something that I've talked to Graham about as well. Yeah. And this question keeps coming up as well in the community, is for places that do have E85, is it completely okay, in your opinion? I know obviously you've been doing tunes for it. Can you tell us more? How is it going with just full E85 tuning? And tell me about the pumps. Is everything okay for most of us that are just are not going to be getting upgraded turbos?
Yeah. So I think running full E85 on the stock turbo is completely fine. I haven't found any issues yet. I know Clark did some digging. He found the high pressure fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump. Basically, the entire fuel system's already set up for ethanol, right? So, long-term ethanol usage has not been an issue yet on the VB. My car's been on E85, at least E30 to E40 since I bought it. Yeah. It has never been on pump gas. And I'm doing this on purpose to torture the high pressure pump, right? So, within the last, whenever Cobb came out with the last starting projection mapping update, my car's not even seen pump gas yet until today, only because I'm dropping it off here for more work to get done. So I would say it's variable and it's relative. So most stock turbo cars are good up until that E80 point, as long as you're not going stupid send. If you go stupid send, 440, 450, you can run out of fuel above E80. So most times at the pump, it's not 85 anyways. You're usually in the 75 to 78 range. Sometimes you'll hit low 80s, 81, 82, and that seems to be completely fine, and the fuel system seems to be more than capable. And actually, once we got over a couple of the smaller hurdles with the larger turbo stuff, we're realizing the fuel system is actually a lot more capable than we initially thought anyways. So
that really seems to be the whole motto of the WRX, is everybody's finding in all aspects of it, it is more capable than we thought it was. I mean, this is one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this car, is people have been saying, oh, well, it's only 3 more horsepower, blah, blah, blah. I have been a champion of this since the day I drove it. So, and I'm glad that you mentioned the E85, because that's been a big question. I think the highest E that I have around me is 80. A lot of people have access to E, some people don't. I think it's really going to depend on what you have in your area, what kind of fuel you're going to run into.
Yeah, and it's also going to depend on the tuner too, right? So certain tuners don't like tuning E85. Certain tuners do. I enjoy E85. Mainly because if you're at E40, you're at a certain... You want me to hold this?
Oh, I can hold it for you, because you like to talk with your hands like I do.
I do. I'm a hand talker. That's why I put them in pockets. No, but there's some people that like E40, E50, and they said there's not much gain past E40, and I don't believe that to be true. The greatest thing about E85 is you can go from mild to wild on the same fuel. So if you don't want full send on your E85 map, I'm not going to do full send. If you want full send, I'll do full send. But the thing is you have that adaptability to do from mild to wild, all on the same fuel mapping. with the cost of a little bit of fuel mileage. That's about the worst.
You know, obviously the highest I've ever run was like that E50 map that you sent, and my gas mileage didn't go down as much as I thought that it would. Also because like most of my driving was just like grandma highway driving. So okay, so I
once
want
you go 85, it will take a hit. I mean, it's like I think I get about 250 a tank, but I'm also not nice to my car.
Okay, well then if that's the case, then I'll just always not be nice so that I just consistently get 200. So I want to ask you about headers, equal length versus unequal length headers. I know there's been tons of conversation. Tell me what you think.
So I've always had the same stance on the equal length to unequal length argument. Equal length is always going to be better. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. There's okay options if you want unequal length nowadays, meaning you're not losing the massive amount of low end that you normally do on an F820. And if those guys want unequal length, they're going to have unequal length. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing Melanie and James can say that they're going to be like, oh, well, I'll just do unequal length. They're not going to do it. I will say that it's never going to sound like an EJ. So I don't understand the point of mimicking something if it's a poor impersonation.
Yeah.
That's just my personal belief. So, yeah, there's a couple quality equal lengths on the market now, and that's probably what I'd lean towards. Obviously, if you're going to ask for a recommendation. However, if you're going to do an unequal length, there is a good option on the market.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm pretty much in that same department where anytime I see any FA trying to imitate an equal length, I don't hear it. Maybe it's my old ears, but anyway. So next up is obviously you guys have, from what I've seen, one of the many top. Actually, that's not that many, but a very high horsepower 22 WRX. Can you kind of give me some idea of how has it been tuning this car?
I can't curse on here. Sorry.
You can. We're like 10 minutes in.
Okay. So it's. My ass was in full pucker when I was doing a lot of this stuff. The biggest thing is these cars are kind of still unknown at that 550 plus wheel horsepower mark, right? So when I first got to 550, I was like, that's a lot for a stock engine, and not many people have been here. How much further are we planning to push this? And James just like, fuck it, do it. And I was like, all right.
Good choice, James.
Fuck it, let's turn it up. So I just kept turning it up until basically we ran out of, we had more fuel limitations than anything else. So we started with ethanol. Ethanol just basically did not work for anything above, what was it, 530, 550s? 550. Yeah, and it was low too. It was like 30-something%, right? So we backed down. And then we got to the point, we actually cheated off somebody else, an unnamed person. They used MS-109. I was like, that's fucking brilliant because we'll get a lot of this back. So we put the MS-109 in the car, and then we installed a meth kit. We're spraying, what's it called? Oh, we can't say that. So we're spraying something that's through a meth kit. It's a meth injection kit. I can't say what we're spraying. But we started off, we tried a few different nozzles, 250s, 500s, moved them around. There's like one further down. And then it was, I think, the 500, 250 combo at about 30 pounds. I think is when it made like 660.
660.
Yeah, 660. So, I mean, all dynos read differently. We can't say we're the top. Everybody's kind of making some power with these. I will say it's a race to the fueling limitation. Is the best way I can explain it. So obviously, James' car it's a shop car. If we break it, we rebuild it, we fix it. But really, in terms of R&D cars, it's basically his car and my car. We just turn them up until they break, and then we see what breaks, and then we're like, okay, well, we won't do that again, and tell the customer not to do this. Don't put in fifth gear and floor it. That type of simple shit. So. That's
fantastic. So now that we've talked about it, I know you guys look at this car every day. I haven't seen it. Do you guys mind if we go check out the car?
Yeah, go look at it.
Oh wait, you do? No, they don't mind. All right, let's go check out the car. All right, guys. So this is the 660 horsepower beast. I am so excited to not only hear what it does, but we're definitely going to take it out and see what it does. We'll have a camera on the inside, and I'll throw the 360 camera on it as well. I'm really excited. So, James, I don't even know where to begin. So, okay, so everything that you can tell me on this car.
All right, so we got the ETS G3770 turbo kit on it. Right now we're still using a 3-inch front mount core. I'm going to be changing out to 3.5 just for visual aspects there. We're running MS-109 and a form of meth injection to get the power level up to 660.
Awesome. So, do you mind starting it up?
Yep.
here. We're gonna head out of here in a little bit, but I wanted to ask you again, something you said about the STI transmission swap was the drive shaft.
The drive shaft, the 15 to 21 drive shaft, the OEM one, it bolts up, but it's too short. So we had to use the 15 to 21 drive shaft shop, the carbon fiber one-piece drive shaft, and that will work.
But the axles,
we've had good luck with the axles. They fit, they bolt up. You know, we haven't had any issues.
That's the issue, because I've seen on a number of different Facebook posts people saying that like that's the issue you're gonna run into. But I don't know. I don't have one yet, so I can't say for sure. Take the car out on the track.
You feel a little shuddery in first
A little bit.
gear. Drives pretty stock.
I was gonna say, for something that much power, if you didn't
Pretty
know,
tame.
you'd have no idea that it's got this much power in it. Even with the noise, it's not that much louder than ours.
No, we've changed different exhaust. I was very fortunate enough that Cobb sent this exhaust over to us, and it got rid of the drone. It sounds great,
It
and
does.
obviously we're making plenty of power through
Dude,
it.
it sounds. So is this just an axle or is it a full catback?
It's the ETS J-pipe that comes with their kit.
Okay.
That you have to run. It has 2 cats in it.
Mhm.
Has a Gessie cat and then a standard cat in it.
Okay.
3-inch, and then Cobb's full 3-inch exhaust, and it kind of splits either 2 1/4, 2 1/2.
Usually it's like 2 1/2.
Yeah.
Still, it sounds really good. Damn, dude. All the way 7,000?
What's that?
7,000 RPM?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we're taking this up to like 71.
Wow. Dude, that was like, you know what? And it's still so smooth.
Yeah.
It is such a, like, non-aggressive.
Yeah, no damn drop, no feedback knock. You know,
Wow.
just
That is
everything you can ask
amazing.
for. 28 and a half pounds.
28 and a half pounds.
Yeah.
That felt really good.
Yeah, we were like 20, a little over 29 on the 660.
Uh-huh.
So this is still in the 600 horsepower range, but we turned it down a little bit just so it lasts a little longer.
Dude, just a little
we just
bit.
don't we don't know where it's gonna, you know, break.
And now we're gonna see, because I've seen you launch your other.
Yes, well,
Okay.
it's changed now with this, with the handbrake that I typically use. We could try a little handbrake, but we got a little surprise in store for you.
Yeah.
So we'll log it. Let's see what we got. We'll just launch it. All right. With too much rub. So, felt like traction control kicked in.
Yeah. Well, because you had it in track mode.
I had track mode, but it still kicked in.
Interesting.
Yeah. It launched pretty hard though.
That dude, as soon as it threw me back.
Yeah.
Guys, that was a lot of fun. I'm so thankful for James for letting me come and take a ride in that car. It is super fast. Maybe next time I come back, he'll let me drive it. So again, a big thank you to Felix Performance for even allowing me to come out here. I know that it was kind of last minute, and I wasn't sure it was going to happen, but this is the kind of stuff that I really enjoy, because if you've seen my tuner talks, if you've seen any of these other videos, for me, it's most important that I get the information from the people actually doing it. And it's not just for you guys. Is for myself as well, because if I learn something, then you learn something. So now I'm just going to turn it over to everybody one by one, and they'll say their goodbyes. And my kid is here with us as well. Where are you? There you are. Anthony, any last words?
No, I don't think so. You guys need anything? Most people know where to get it.
They do, and I tell you.
Okay, my last words is it pays not to be a dick. There's a child in here, so I can say it.
This is true. It does.
But that's about it. Most people usually know how to get in contact with me. Felix Performance is one of my major shops that I work at. And then I'm all around the Northeast area, so I'm usually a hoarder of diamonds, so you'll find me around.
Yep. James?
It was great meeting you. I had a lot of fun. It's great talking with you. I really appreciate this.
As do I. Melanie?
Glad you were able to come out. Glad this all worked out. And anybody that needs anything, just shoot me a message.
They know. they definitely know that. So, as you guys know, as always, I will have all the links to the website and everything down in the description as well. Again, I cannot say enough things about Anthony. As you guys know, he has worked on the car, and he does have a tuner talk 2, I believe. I will post that down below as well. Definitely go check out the whole tuner talk series, especially Anthony's, because there's a lot of good information. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next one.